Court calls the case. People versus William Lanham.
Court calls the case. And just like that, we're stepping into a sentencing hearing that quickly turns into something much deeper than fines and probation. Today's case centers around William Lamb, a young man standing before Judge Simpson, facing the consequences of a mistake he openly calls a big one. But here's where it gets compelling. This isn't just about what happened at the time of the offense. It's about who he claims he's become since then, right? We've got a defense attorney highlighting sobriety, career growth, restitution payments, and a supportive family. We've got a mother ready to speak. And we've got a judge who is known for looking beyond the paperwork and straight into the character of the person in front of him. The big question, is this true rehabilitation or just a well-prepared sentencing presentation? As we move through this hearing, pay attention to the judge's tone shifts. Watch how he interacts with the mother. And listen carefully when William speaks, because sometimes what's not said matters just as much as what is. By the end of this, we'll see whether accountability earns leniency or whether consequences still come knocking.
Good morning, this is Defendant.
William Lanham.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, today is the date time set for sentencing. I did review the assessment and did speak with Mr. Lanham regarding the recommendation. I know there is a rec for the jail time. I've spoken.
He needs to be here.
Be here in person.
Mr. Lanham, how soon can you get down here?
Within an hour?
Okay.
Hour and a half.
I have a block coming up at 11 o'clock, so you need to be here by 11, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Good morning, Assistant Public Defender Lauren Kearney on behalf of Mr. Lanham. State your name for the record, please, sir.
William Lanham.
All right.
Your Honor, today is the date and time set for sentencing. We did review the assessment as well as the recommendation. I would like to make a statement on behalf of my client. His parents are also here. I believe his mother would like to speak to you before you impose sentence as well. I just wanted to put that on the court's radar. We asked for the 4 days that's recommended. We are asking for either a waiver of that time or a delay of it. So Mr. can serve it at the end of his probationary term.
This is a critical legal moment. The defense isn't disputing guilt. That ship has sailed. Instead, they're asking for mitigation. When an attorney requests a waiver or delay of jail time, they're essentially arguing that the goals of sentencing, punishment, deterrence, rehabilitation, are already being met without incarceration. Notice the strategy: sobriety since the incident, steady employment, graduation from the University of Michigan, compliance on bond, on even bringing a sober link while traveling internationally. That's a deliberate narrative of transformation. Courts absolutely consider post-offense conduct at sentencing. In fact, genuine rehabilitation can heavily influence probationary outcomes. But here's something to think about. Should progress after getting caught outweigh the seriousness of the original act? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe jail time is necessary if someone truly changes? Or should consequences remain firm regardless? This is where sentencing becomes more art than math. And Judge Simpson is listening closely.
This is a bit of an old case. It's from the end of 2023. Since then, and I've learned through my many conversations with Mr. Lanham, he's completely changed his life. He reported to me that it's completely changed his perspective on life. It put things into focus, and he realizes that he needed to change his ways. Since then, he's gotten sober. He's been sober since this incident. He's been working multiple jobs, both with his own business, I guess you would say, as a freelance graphic designer and photographer. He graduated from the University of Michigan with his bachelor's. He's also worked as a server for quite some time. He's in a long-term serious relationship and is in a very healthy space with his relationship. He's very busy with work right now, has some exciting things coming up. For example, yesterday he told me he's doing a video for a U of M football player that was recently signed for the Bills. So some exciting thing that's happening in the next week or so.
For the Bills?
Some of the Bills, yes.
Okay.
No, not
Go ahead.
our team. Not our team.
I don't know that.
He also Since this incident and before he was arraigned, did complete treatment and did attend AA meetings. He's been completely compliant on bond. He did travel out of the country just a few weeks ago, brought a sober link with him, and had no violations while he was on that trip. He's also paid his entire community corrections balance. And obviously he's here in person as the court asked him to be. He's not running from his responsibilities. I think, from day one, Mr. Lanham has acknowledged his mistake, has acknowledged his behavior, and has wanted to make it right. He's also going to pay restitution to the individual that requested that. So he really is taking responsibility for his behavior. We are asking that the court take all this into consideration when sentencing Mr. Lanham. And again, we're asking for either a waiver of the 4 days or a delay in that time so he can complete his work obligations. And as I said, Brenner, his parents are here. Mother wanted to say something.
Okay, I can step back and Mom, come on up.
Now the emotional temperature shifts. When a judge invites a parent to speak, especially at sentencing, it signals that character testimony matters here. Family allocution can influence how a court views support systems, accountability, and likelihood of reoffending. The mother's statement isn't defensive. It's reflective. She acknowledges teaching right from wrong. She admits he didn't listen. That honesty actually strengthens credibility. Ida's judges are quick to tune out parents who minimize wrongdoing. But here, she's not excusing him. She's recognizing growth. And then the judge probes her. What if he had said no? That question isn't random. It tests whether she enables or empowers. The court wants to know, is this support healthy or is it shielding him? You can feel the shift from legal proceeding to life lesson. This is no longer just about sentencing guidelines. It's about responsibility, independence, and the role of parents in adult accountability.
Hello, Mia. What's your name?
Katrina Hamilton.
All right, got it. Okay, go ahead. What did you want to tell?
I just wanted to say that it's really unfortunate that you try and teach your kids the right thing to do, and hopefully they'll make good decisions and good choices. And we've always taught William right from wrong, but we explained to him what he did with it was totally up to him. And it's unfortunate that the things that we said, maybe he wasn't able to hear. He has been able to hear from you. And it's unfortunate that you can't hear your parents the first time. And, but I have noticed a change in you this time around. Just more patient, more respectful. And in most times when I call, he doesn't have time because he has a job that he's performing. He'll come by the show me work for that job.
Let me ask you this. Does he live with you or no? No?
Yes.
He-
Sometimes.
Okay,
Most times.
most times. Okay. I know how that works. All right. Why'd you come down with him today?
I've been trying to come to all of his meetings with him, and he said that wasn't necessary. Just thought we could be of some support. So we were never sure about the details of this case or anything like that, because the only information we have is and so I asked him today, he said that he would be sentenced today, and so I said, well, can we at least come for your sentence? And he agreed.
So what if he had said no? What would you have done?
Would have respected his wishes, whoever.
Really?
I would have.
Okay.
I should say, speak for myself, I am the kind of parent that wants him to accept responsibility for what he does. And so he says no. The other thing that I wanted to add is
Yes, ma'am.
that since this happened, I've been regularly attending Al-Anon meetings and some open AA talks. And it's helped me to see that there is only so much I can control.
Sure. Okay. Anything else you want to tell me, ma'am? Well, I'll say this. There, part of the problem is that, and I get what you're saying about respecting his wishes and trying to let him grow up and those kinds of things, right? I think sometimes what kids don't realize these days is, you can go out there and fly in the world, but at some point you got to kind of return to your base. And they don't get it, trying to just guide them through, but they won't do that. And you see, you're not like my mother, because my mother would have known everything in the world about what was going on. It wouldn't have been a choice for me. But that's how I was raised. But I'm glad he said yes, and I'm glad that you came down, and I'm glad that you were able to tell me what you see, because sometimes it's only a mom that can kind of communicate what it is about their child, and so I appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am. Anything you want to say? You need to take your hands out of your pockets. Anything you want to say before I impose sentence?
That small detail, take your hands out of your pockets, is courtroom body language 101. Judges read posture as much as words. Hands in pockets can signal nervousness, disrespect, or emotional withdrawal. The judge immediately corrects it. Why? Because sentencing is about presence. When William speaks, he uses language like accountability, real solutions, no excuses. It's thoughtful, structured, almost rehearsed. But here's the tension. Sincerity isn't just about vocabulary, it's about ownership. Notice how he apologizes broadly, to the community, to the court, to the other party. That's important legally. Courts want to see acknowledgement of harm beyond personal inconvenience. But here's a question for you. Do you hear genuine remorse, or do you hear someone who understands what the court wants to hear? These moments matter because judges weigh tone, authenticity, and consistency when deciding liberty.
I made a mistake, Your Honor. A big one. And I've had a lot of honest conversation with myself and others about my accountability in this and my life moving forward. I've been sober since this incident. I apologize to the community, to you, and to the other party involved. I love this community. I've worked with this community. My talents to help build businesses for people, of reshape lives, and I see the delicacy of my actions and my consequences. They can be. Never again. Same thing. There's You have to have real solutions for real problems and not make excuses either. And I wish to see my capability, my potential, and my need to adjudicate the situation in a decent, fair way. Thank you.
How old are you?
32. Sure. In minutia of changing my career and starting to build a family.
How come you didn't tell your mom what happened?
I did.
No, I mean, about everything.
Shame as well. And the need to not necessarily burden others with my issue.
Extremely noble, but I think with parents, but particularly moms, you don't, you can't stop that burden of your issues.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you, you talk all of this, and I'm not saying I disbelieve you, but one thing that I was saying to your mother is sometimes, young man, what you got to realize is when things get difficult, when times are really hard, you can sit out there on your own. And I'm going to tell you, it will not go well. It just won't. But what you have to do is you have to go home.
This is no longer procedural. This is philosophical. Judge Simpson pivots into something powerful, the concept of going home. He's reframing accountability not as punishment, but as humility. From a legal standpoint, this is a judge signaling he sees potential for rehabilitation. When judges lecture, it often means they're wrestling with leniency. If incarceration were certain, the speech would be shorter and procedural. The underlying legal theme here is recidivism prevention. Like, courts want to know, will this person repeat the behavior? Strong family support statistically reduces reoffending. The judge is anchoring his decision around that protective factor, but he's also warning him. Independence without guidance can spiral. The emotional weight here is heavy because this isn't about a criminal record alone. It's about trajectory.
You know, your mother got up here, and, you know, the first thing that she was saying to me is just about raising you and teaching you right from wrong. And as a parent myself, yeah, that's what you do. And you just hope they go out there and they do the right thing. All the while knowing that not in every instance will they. And if Brights, up for the fact that she's your mother, she could just say, you didn't listen to a darn thing I said, just turned her back and walked away. But she didn't. And I'm going to bet there have been other times in your life where she probably could have walked away and did not. You know what? You should feel and understand how fortunate you are. Two things. And I don't know your mother, but it sounds to me like you've got a mother you can tell anything to. Guilt, shame, doesn't matter. You can tell her. And you ought to feel blessed that she's still here for you to tell her. And the only thing that when you run into those difficult parts in life that you're going to have to rely upon is the remembrance of her voice telling you those things. As long as she walks this earth, you need to understand one thing. You are not that grown. You understand what I'm saying, do you? This all happened, quite frankly, just like when you were probably little. The first person you should have run to was her. Like I said, she could have walked away from this, said, well, yeah, my 32-year-old son doing what he's doing, and I'm going to let it be his business. I know she probably got something else she could be doing today. But she is here. You told her that you're facing jail time, right? Even in that, what for a parent would be one of the most painful things in the world to watch their child go off to jail. She didn't flinch. She asked you to be respectful, whether she'd come down. But she came down to maybe watch the most painful thing she would have to watch. Because she wasn't going to let you walk that journey alone. Didn't matter what it was. Court does acknowledge this is not a serious misdemeanor as defined by statute, however, believes there are reasonable grounds to depart from the presumption of a non-probationary sentence. The alcohol screening and assessment identifies the benefit of an IOP programming, attendance at AA meetings, monitored abstinence from all intoxicants. Therefore, the court will follow the recommendation of probation for a probationary sentence with the stated goals of rehabilitation to promote change, prevent recidivism, and to monitor compliance of recommended treatment. So therefore, the sentence of the court, I'm going to place you on 24 months probation.
Here's the ruling structure. Probation for 24 months. Financial penalties totaling over $2,000, including fines, costs, restitution, and supervision fees. Let's break that down. Probation is conditional freedom. It means compliance monitoring, potential testing, treatment requirements, and strict reporting. Violation can trigger jail instantly. The court also referenced IOP programming, intensive outpatient program, and AA attendance. That aligns with the alcohol screening assessment. Judges rely heavily on these evaluations because they're risk-based tools. Financially, this isn't light. Courts often use structured payment plans to ensure accountability without immediate hardship. But failure to pay can also result in violations. Legally speaking, this is a significant opportunity. Jail was on the table, and yet, it's not fully off the table. Keep listening.
You are to pay $1,255 fines and court costs, $100 per prosecution recovery costs, $100 police agency recovery costs, $720 probation oversight fees, $144.72 restitution to Sanyo Grima payable through the court. When can you pay that? How much do you have today?
200.
Then how are you intending on getting the rest of this paid?
Working and paying this off in installments.
How much are you going to pay per month?
Minimum of 100.
I'm just going to have a payment plan as arranged by probation. No, young man. We're so fortunate that woman loves you more than life itself. And the problem is, I don't think you know how blessed you are. She goes to Al-Anon to try to understand you, to help her, but also to try to understand you. Trying to figure out how can I help my baby. And she got to the point where she realized, as she said today, she can only do so much. $365 days in jail, credit for 1 day that you served. I'm going to order that the defendant at this time I'm going to order that he's to serve an additional 4 days and then the balance will be suspended. I will not have him remanded today.
There it is, suspended sentence structure. The judge announces 365 days. That's the maximum exposure, but suspends all except 4 days. This is a classic leverage mechanism in sentencing. Translation: the court is holding a year of jail time over his head as motivation. If he violates probation, that suspended time can come back. Notice he's not remanded today. Instead, the judge adjourns the decision on serving those 4 days. That's strategic. It creates a window of accountability. And here's something critical. The judge explicitly says the pause is because of the mother. That's extraordinary judicial transparency. Family impact influenced the court's leniency. Do you think that's fair? Should a supportive parent reduce jail time, or should sentencing be strictly individual?
I will adjourn it out for my decision on your remand time. I'll adjourn that to 6/11, June 11th, 2025 at 9 a.m. And at that point, I may impose the jail time. In the interim, I'm going to suggest to you that you thank that woman behind you for the grace the court is showing you today, as well as your life. Because the only reason I'm pausing is because of her. In the interim, from now until then, the thing that the court is going to order, because she's owed it, but you can make your own decision about what to do. You need to tell her everything about this case and how you got there.
This may be the most unusual condition of all. The judge isn't just imposing legal terms, he's imposing relational accountability. Legally, judges have broad discretion in probation conditions, so long as they relate to rehabilitation. Transparency with family? That fits the rehabilitation framework. But this is deeper than law. The judge is forcing honesty. He's saying secrecy enabled the shame cycle. Break that cycle. And then the warning: if she comes back and says she only heard part of the truth, he has a whole lot more time than those 4 days. That's a clear deterrent. This is courtroom psychology at its finest, using moral authority alongside legal authority.
Yes, Your Honor.
You hear me? If she comes back to me and tells me you only told her part of it, or I find out you only know part of it, then I got a whole lot more time than those 4 days.
I'll ask you mitigation, Your Honor.
Absolutely. Not only because you should do it, she's owed it. We'll see you in June. Thank you. Mom and Dad, thanks for coming with him.
This sentencing hearing illustrates how modern courts balance punishment with rehabilitation. Judge Simpson recognized that while the offense did not meet the statutory definition of a serious misdemeanor, there were grounds to depart from a purely non-probationary sentence due to the alcohol assessment and risk factors. The court imposed 24 months of probation, over $2,000 in financial penalties, required treatment compliance, and then suspended a 365-day jail sentence, with 4 days still potentially to be served. The deciding factor: demonstrated sobriety, post-offense conduct, and visible parental support. This case reminds us that accountability doesn't erase consequences, but it can shape them. Rehabilitation, transparency, and family influence all played measurable roles in today's outcome. If you found this case as shocking as we did, make sure to hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more jaw-dropping courtroom breakdowns.